All right, welcome to Wagner Truck Equipment here in Saltsburg, Pennsylvania. If you want to know where that is, today I had to go from Fox Ford to Wagner, and I think I took 79 to 70 to 30 to 22 past a brown cow. Big dog on the left. Make sure you take a right when you see him. And then there's this big, beautiful building here, a lot of facilities, a lot of trucks. That's how you know where you're supposed to be. You'll also find some really friendly faces like Ben here to help you guys out. Today, Ben and I are going to be talking about his business. He's going to be informing me a lot about what happens in the automotive industry, especially concerning commercial vehicles and upfitting vehicles for your needs so that you can do the job that you need to do so that you can live your livelihood, support your families, and support the businesses around you and people around you in your community. The thing is, I don't know a whole lot about this industry from the inside. I'm just an automotive enthusiast who now has a job working in social content. And so I have a lot to learn. Ben has a lot to teach, and he has a lot to offer. So we're going to talk to him today. He's going to talk about Fox Ford and Wagner, how we work together to meet your needs, and we're all going to learn together. Hopefully, this results in you buying a Ford and throwing a dump body on from Wagner Equipment. So first things first, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me about your background a little bit. Share with me what makes you good at what you do, I guess. So brag a little bit,
Sure.
not too much. Brag a little bit, but then I want people to know who you are. So feel free to share something personal. Feel free to share what you're interested in, so that if somebody comes here, they already know you a little bit.
Sure. So, basically, born on a showroom floor, I've spent my entire working career in the automotive industry. The past 10 years strictly devoted to commercial trucks. But beyond that, I'm a farm kid. I born and raised on 63 acres in Washington County. The collared shirt and the loafers kind of fool a lot of folks. I'm not exactly the businessman of sorts, but a lot of experience in this industry and a lot of good opportunities to help you guys to size up the right build for your job and what exactly it is you expect.
Sure.
Started off in the automotive industry selling retail cars, transitioned to commercial trucks about 10 years ago, and have been with the Wagner Group now for about 5 years, bringing my experience in dealerships to the other side of the coin.
So we've talked about this a little bit. This isn't the first time Ben and I have talked. I tried to save some of this stuff for you guys, so I'm learning along with you, especially about Ben. What caused you to move from cars and retail
Mhm.
into this end? Because you have a passion for it.
Certainly.
But
Well,
what?
it's a great question.
Why did you do that?
So I saw a kind of a gap in commercial truck sales where it was treated not as a means to an end, but a development of a relationship. There were a lot of guys that were trying to do this, that were trying to sell you guys, the commercial customer, like they would a retail car sale.
Hmm,
The buying motivations are completely different. So developing a relationship and a partnership I saw as a place that needed some work in this area. And
sure.
that's kind of what I devoted my time into doing, is working this kind of top down instead of bottom up.
Sure. Now, personally, I'm brand new to this industry myself. I've only been working here at Fox Ford for about four or 5 weeks or so at the time of the recording of this video. That said, I'm not new to automobiles whatsoever. I've loved cars as long as I can remember. Some of my very first memories are in the back of a Beretta GTZ as my dad tried to keep me awake, weaving in traffic and things like that. I still remember some of my very first thoughts about what my favorite cars were. The Viper GTS 2001, 2002. You guys can picture it, blue with white stripes. I thought that was the coolest because I had two exhausts coming out the center of the rear bumper. So that was the coolest car to me. And then the C5 Corvette, which I shouldn't talk about Chevrolets maybe, but C5 Corvette came out, and that had four exhausts coming out the center of the bumper. And I remember seeing that for the first time on Brainerd Road, where I grew up, and thinking, well, that's got to be the coolest car. It's got four exhausts in there. And so I thought that was great. So, Ford Performance, you put six exhausts in the rear of a Mustang, and I'm in. But that's kind of where I started. And since then, my enthusiasm has only grown and grown and grown. So personally, I'm not a truck guy. I've shared that with Ben.
Mhm.
So any of you who are watching this, a lot of you will be truck guys, and you're going to look at me and be like, that guy doesn't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't. I've used a work truck. The last couple summers, I've done landscaping, so I'm familiar that you want something that works easy, and I sometimes took some of that for granted. But I'm a car guy. down in heart. I like race cars. I like performance driving. I like a manual 6 speed, 7 speed with 10,000 RPM and V12, all that kind of stuff. So I'm new to this and I'm going to be learning. If you're here and you're learning as well about what Wagner does, even just the product, how these things operate and what they're for, you're learning along with me. He shared only a little bit with me, and I didn't take a ton of notes while we were walking around. So that's going to be part of it. Now, I do want you, Ben, to don't shy away from the technical stuff for me,
Certainly.
because your guys are going to be watching this and they're going to be interested in that.
Mhm.
So there might be things I don't understand, and I'm okay with that. I want you to share that with our audience here, so that
Certainly.
they don't feel like they're left out of the audience. This isn't just for beginners. Really, a lot of this is for the people we're selling to. And so you folks know more than me. I'm here to learn about it. So here's the first thing I want to cover. And a lot of you already know this. We can maybe make this quick. And I have a couple notes here and some things for Ben. So Ben, first of all, what is it you do? What is an upfitter or an outfitter? I think is another word that kind of does some of the
So
same thing.
industry phrases is an upfitter, and that's exactly correct. Basically, what we do is we take a blank slate, be it a pickup truck, a box truck, a cab chassis, and we complete that unit for an individual work environment.
Sure.
So whether that be a dump truck for a landscaper or a concrete guy or a service truck for a mobile mechanic,
Mm-hmm.
we are the guys that build that truck to an industry specific finished product.
Sure.
Um, it can be something as simple as a ladder rack and a toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
Your local shade tree guys, Joe Fix It around the corner. Maybe all he needs is a ladder rack and a crossbody toolbox, and that's perfectly fine. That's what makes him money in the field. That's what he can do
Yeah.
to earn his living. It could be something as complicated as a full-blown municipal spec dump truck with a snow plow and a salt spreader.
Right.
No job is any better or worse than another.
Yeah.
We try to gear these to be useful in the field for the guys that are using them.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always go the same way. 5 customers could come in from 5 different industries and need 5 completely different things. And it is our job to kind of nail that down for them,
Right.
and find out what's going to make their lives easier.
And along with that comes a knowledge of those industries.
100%.
So you are directly tied in. You need to know what they're doing, how they do it, and hopefully you get that information from them. But you need to know what your customer's doing, how they do it, so that you can effectively serve them.
Mhm.
From Ford's point of view, we have a relationship with Wagner, and we have other people that we work with as well. But if you were to come to Ford, we have our commercial sales manager. His name is Seth, and he could let you know, well, you need this kind of vehicle because this kind of vehicle suits this kind of body, which we could upfit you with, and that will perform the job that you are seeking. A big part of vehicle sales and commercial sales is, there's an emotional aspect, but there's also a determination of this is what you need to live your life or to do your work, and we want to meet that need. And that's exactly what Wagner's
Mhm.
trying to do for you guys. There's a service aspect to this. Of course, we're selling products, but we can't sell products effectively if we're not meeting your needs from a service point of view. So it's not just smiling faces and talk, it's also knowing who you are, knowing what you need, and then providing those things. And from the commercial point of view, because that's what we're discussing today, I know Seth and I know Ben here that they know what you need. You show up and you tell them the field that you're in, and they could make recommendations, and hopefully we have stuff on the lot that meets your need. Now, along those lines, and this is connected to that same idea, my second question for you today was, on your website, you have a quote that is akin to this phrase. So I'm going to talk about it in the second person, but you guys can read this on their website. It says here that you're more than a supplier. You're a partner with your customer in upfitting their vehicles for work, for play, and everything in between. What does that mean for your customer?
Well, for the customer, we're able to impart some of our knowledge and our experience in this industry to help them to do the things that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of draw it down like this: is that, I realistically, I could pound in a nail with a crescent wrench,
Sure.
but it might not be the right tool for the job.
Right.
Our job is to help you find the right tool for that job.
Mm-hmm.
Could a plumber work out of a truck with a cap on it? Sure. But would that same plumber be able to do their job more efficiently and simpler with a completely kitted out cargo van with shelving,
Right.
bulkheads, ladder racks? Probably.
Right.
That is our job, is to try to find out what works for you, the customer, to make your jobs as efficient as possible.
Right. Exactly.
And we spend a lot of time in trying to do that the right way. I'm not just trying to go out there and sell product. I want to help you guys succeed as business owners. When you guys do better, we do better. It's a mutual relationship.
Sure. And so you guys probably saw the disclaimer at the beginning of this video that's going to be up there that Ben and I are going to work on, and Seth are going to work on. We are not exclusive partners whatsoever. We work with other companies.
Correct.
However, we have the same customers. And so when I spoke to Ben and I realized that he's very good at explaining things and he's got a charismatic character for sure.
Thank you for that.
I discovered that making this video would be good. And I hope to do the same with our other partners as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask him this question with that context, for your sake, for the customer's sake, but also for me, because I'm still learning and figuring things out. How do Fox, Ford, and Wagner, what are the practical ways that we work together for the customer? And what I mean to kind of lead the question here is, when the customer wants a vehicle and they come to us, what are the steps that follow that result in them having a truck with a switch and go, or them having a truck with a dump body, or anything like that? What happens? What is the process that our customers can expect?
So there are a couple of different ways that we could look at this. And number one, we always have completed and built units sitting at Fox Ford that are available for immediate purchase. I want to say right now, I believe we have 8 or 9 pieces of inventory on your parking lot that any customer could walk in this afternoon and purchase and put right in the field.
Yeah.
But where we really shine with that is being able to take a concept or something that somebody has in the back of their mind. It's like, okay, I'm working with this now, but I'd like it to be able to do this. And that's where the phone call comes, and Seth calls and says, yeah, I've got Mr. Customer sitting here. I've got you on speaker, and he's trying to accomplish this.
Yeah.
We kind of break that down, and that's where I really like getting involved with the customers, is making sure that what I'm providing for them is going to do everything that they want it to do.
Right.
I could go down to Famous Footwear and I could buy a pair of size 12 Nike tennis shoes, but maybe that doesn't exactly fit my foot, or maybe I don't like what color those are. Being able to dial that down to an industry specific need is what I feel like I'm the best at doing, and helping a customer to make a good decision and buy something that makes sense for them.
And what's difficult about this is we're not getting into a lot of detail about what those needs might be. And here's why. There's so many different needs.
For sure.
So a lot of it is us saying, well, we want a truck, first of all, because you got to start there. You can't carry the thing on your back. You need a truck, and then you need a body that does the work that you need. When I say the work that you need, there's so many that we can't narrow that down.
For sure.
And that makes conversing about it a little tricky, because if we're talking about something specific, which we hope to do in the future, then we could give you guys more detail. But for the sake of this conversation, we're not getting into quite those details. But I think you guys watching, what that is. You know what you need, whether you're working in the oil field, whether you're landscaping, or even a painter. In my family, we have my stepfather's a painter, and he's got a rack on a Ford Ranger. Somehow he puts 20-foot, he might have put a 40-foot ladder on there once,
for sure,
to get it from one place to another. I mean, that stuff is pretty intense, but there's so many different things that you can do. And we're not being vague for the sake of vagueness. We're being vague because there's a lot that can be done with a Ford truck and a Wagner installed body.
The scope of what we do is a lot more in depth than what a lot of folks realize.
Yeah.
And somebody could walk in this store here at our showroom and say, okay, I need a flatbed. Right off the bat, in my mind, that could be a dozen different things.
Sure.
Do I need something with rack sides and a gate on the back that I can load from the ground up? Is that something that I can haul my trailer with?
Sure.
Or put sideboards on and haul bales of hay? Is it something with an overhead rack and toolboxes? It's not cookie cutter.
Hmm.
So every industry and every person that walks in the front door might have a different idea of what they need, what that flatbed really is.
Right.
And it's up to us and the fine folks at Fox Ford to help them narrow that down to something that makes sense for them.
Sure. Now, ultimately, my job, and you guys are going to help me out with this by liking and sharing and subscribing and all of those things. My job is to help Fox sell trucks, right? So um, I'm going to ask Ben here to help me with that a little bit, but he's being genuine and informational here because he shared this with me outside of this context specifically. He told me that Ford represents 65% of the commercial market share that he primarily deals in, meaning the vehicles that he services in that market. Ford represents 65% of the market share, which is excellent. And you guys drive around, you see them. There's Ford Super Duties everywhere. Ford Super Duties everywhere. Now, he also said that in his experience, when he looks at a Ford cab and chassis, or he takes the bed off of a truck, the factory bed off a truck, he recognizes that it seems like Ford has spent the, has thought long and hard about the upfitting process, which is good from a manufacturing point of view. You need to know your customers, you need to know what you're going to do, and then be ready for it. Now, if you're a car guy like me, I'm going to give an analog to that. A couple of years ago, Toyota came out with a new Supra, and some of you were saying that's a BMW. That's for the guys who know. I got to get a word in somewhere, okay? Well, the Supra, when Toyota and GR came out with the Supra, they knew guys were going to take them drifting. They knew guys were going to put spoilers on them. So there's brackets underneath the bodywork so that when you get in there, you can just assemble those aftermarket parts right away. So when you were speaking to me the other day saying Ford seems to know their customer and know what you're looking for, well, that's the same kind of thing. They know what the customer is going to be doing from the beginning. So with that in mind, and Ford's understanding of the upfitting process
Mhm.
and the work that they seem to have invested in it, why should folks be considering a Ford for their commercial work?
Well, one of the things that I notice about Ford product is that they work really hard to adhere to the few industry standard measurements that are critical to what we do to
Sure.
finish a truck.
Yeah.
Proper width of frame, proper length of frame for the standard body builds that are out there to be able to be installed easily.
Hmm.
Uh, Things like the def fillers having their own brackets built right onto the side of the truck.
Yeah.
One less thing that we as the completer of that job have to try to fabricate on our own.
Hmm.
They've put a nice usable bracket right there on the truck and it
Yeah.
comes with it.
Yeah.
Having flat frame rails where when we put a body down onto the truck's frame,
Yep.
we're not worried about spring shackles being in the way. We're not worried about fuel tanks being in our way.
Hmm.
Everything that they do is inside the frame.
Yep.
There are other manufacturers out there that deviate from that a little bit, and
Sure.
depending on what we're trying to accomplish, that can make our lives a lot harder with completing that truck.
Yeah.
Um, Ford has a lot of experience in building commercial trucks, and they know what needs to be done ahead of time
Yeah.
to make our lives a little bit easier, and ultimately increases the expectation from us to have something done in a timely manner.
Exactly. So that's what I was thinking. A lot of you guys, if you want a truck and we don't have it on our lot, like we said, we have inventory that's ready to go and we know what kinds of things people want. So Seth has some things prepared. You could show up, and if you are in that market for that vehicle, it's probably ready for you because we know
Mhm.
the industries around us in Waynesburg and in the the West Green area down there, southwestern Pennsylvania. But if you wanted something quick, you have a job to do. Well, and everybody wants something quick. Um, when you order your truck, you don't want to wait. If you
Correct.
want to get that truck quick because you have a job to do quick, we have people call into Fox Ford and say, I just got this new job or I just got contracted for this work and I need a vehicle today. I need a vehicle tomorrow because starting next week, I'm working. And so I don't know the timelines exactly that you guys have. I understand you can't
So
build something
for
tomorrow,
sure,
but with Ford and the work that they've done on the front end, on the back end, it helps everybody.
yeah, the less time we have to spend chasing our tails with a specialty wiring harness that
Hmm.
maybe this vehicle specifically uses and nobody else out on the market has.
Sure.
That is time taken away from actual production.
Yep.
Something as simple as a plate hitch on the back of a truck, back of a dump truck.
Hmm.
Having the proper width and the proper depth for that hitch to fit this truck's frame.
Sure.
If it saves me 45 minutes on a job of having to track down the right product because the truck is not built to spec,
Yeah.
if I'm looking at that over the course of a month, if it's 45 minutes per job over 30 jobs,
Yeah.
that's a lot of wasted time
Right.
that Ford has done a very nice job of eliminating those oddball situations. And not
Yeah.
every job goes perfectly,
Sure.
obviously. But if I'm able to save a couple of hours of tracking and hunting for the proper product because it was built correctly from word go,
Hmm.
it makes our lives easier, which in turn makes your lives easier. I'm
Yeah.
able to provide a completed product with a little bit more efficiency than not.
For
So
sure. Now, we're going to talk about some other things maybe down the road in the future. We're also going to go look at some vehicles. We're not going to do a deep dive into anything specifically today, just because when we do that, we want to set that up properly.
correct.
Today's an introduction. Who is Wagner? Who is Fox Ford, if you're not familiar with us? And what is the relationship that we have that helps you? That's the context for this video. So look forward to some fun things in the future. So we are going to take a little bit of a jump here. It might not flow the way that you would expect based on how we've been talking, but I want to dive into some of Ben's expertise and some of his interest because his passion and his enthusiasm for this field is going to, um, really show the quality of the work that's done behind the scenes. And so that's the kind of thing I want people to see, both from the stuff that I make in the future with Fox Ford and here in this context. So here's my question for you, from an enthusiast point of view, from a business perspective.
Mhm.
What do you see happening in the future in this business? Now, stay with me. Don't turn the video off right away. We talked about electric vehicles the other day, and that they're going to be something to think about. I don't think you have to worry about them taking the position of your 7.3 or your
No,
6.7 or anything like that. I don't think that's going to happen.
no.
But that is a big area where Wagner could make a lot of money, um, but also create some impressive products. So when I talk about the future, that might be part of it,
Mhm.
but also innovations. Wagner has, and I've been shown some of this. Wagner has some incredible engineering and design intuition, and I hope to highlight those things in the future with you guys for
Sure.
sure, because you guys benefit from that, whether you see it or not. Um, but what things do you think are coming in the future that you're really excited about, that you would like to invest your time in, that you want to share with people, just from a fun point of view? Because some of you
Sure.
guys are not here for information as much as you are here to talk about trucks. So let's do that. Let's have some fun.
Well, regarding EV
Sure.
and how it can apply to the commercial world, and for you guys that are watching this video, uh, like it or not, it's coming.
Yeah.
Whether we want to admit it or not,
Yeah.
it's going to be relevant
Yeah.
for the foreseeable future. We are right now looking at the Model A's. If I'm
Hmm.
to use a
Yeah.
comparison, we're looking at the
Can
Model
I can I
A's of
can I
EV.
pause you right there for
Sure.
a second? Actually, Jim Farley, CEO of Ford. If you guys don't follow him online or anything, CEOs, we kind of detach ourselves. Jim Farley races Ford GT40s. I mean, he is a dude. He is cool. I think he races Mustangs too. Jim Farley said that right now Ford is working on the Model T of electric vehicles.
Mhm.
Inexpensive, accessible to everybody. And if you guys don't remember, the Model T was really good off road. That was one of its defining characteristics. And so that's something to be excited about. Once again, I'm
Could be
all
driven
about,
down a goat path, honestly, and a lot of times they were.
yeah, I mean, I'm all about high revving, naturally aspirated engines, stuff like that. And I know that on the commercial side, that's what we're dealing with. And we're great. We love that stuff. But the electric vehicles, they are coming. There's something to consider. And you're right, we're at the beginning. So go ahead. I'm sorry to
That's okay.
interrupt.
It's no problem. They can present a whole new level of challenges for somebody that is completing a vehicle,
Hmm.
a different mindset, a different knowledge base that we as an organization are really trying to get ahead of the game on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
the ways to power the various types of equipment that we
Yes.
install,
Yeah.
where we pull our 12-volt power from, the
Hmm.
integration process of putting our bodies on an EV truck. Uh, Over the next 10 years, it's going to completely revolutionize the way a lot of us have to think.
Yeah.
And we are trying to keep an open mind on this as much as possible,
Hmm.
and to make sure that we have the education and the technical knowledge to be able to accomplish this for you guys. Um, Ford released the e-Transit just a couple of years ago. We
Yeah.
actually built one of the very first ones for shelving in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
Westmoreland County Votech Center purchased one as a working demo for the HVAC kids.
Hmm.
Um, Requires a mindset to install shelving, bulkheads, partitions in these fans, knowing that, okay, well, we can't just bore holes through the floors of
Right.
these. There's a bottom up process that needs to take place, and that is only going to get more in depth the further along the technology
Yeah.
goes. Um,
And
EV.
Wagner's not just throwing bodies on trucks.
Mm-mm.
You could do that at home. You could throw a flatbed on an old truck at home. I think even I could do it. That's not the operation that we're dealing with here. So as you explain these things, feel free to kind of flex some of that, cranial muscle a little
Sure.
bit so that our audience recognizes the level of work that you put in. Because you've, from even from my perspective, someone who on a personal level am not extremely interested in some of these things. I'm a
Mhm.
car guy. I am extremely impressed by the engineering, the level of thought, and the sincerity behind that goes into this. So as you explain some of these things, yeah, feel free to flex
Sure.
that.
So if you're looking at the e-Transit, and I'll just continue on with that, the battery packs, the actual lithium battery packs, are stored in the floor of the van from front to back.
Yeah.
So my technicians down in my shop, they have to know where the packs are. They have to know where the wiring that goes to those packs
Hmm.
are. Um, these things run at such a high voltage that one miscalculation, um, unfortunately, it could be the demise of a technician. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that serious.
Yeah.
It's life or death.
Hmm.
So we try to approach all of these things with the knowledge that we are doing this and doing it properly.
Right.
There are things that we have to research on, and EV trucks are coming too.
Hmm.
Vans was the first step of the
Yeah.
equation. EV trucks are coming along the line as well. So working around a battery pack in a frame rail might not be able to put things together the way we traditionally
Sure.
did. So the industry is going to have to change on our side of the equation as the manufacturers are
Yep.
bringing this new stuff along.
Yeah.
Knowledge is king,
Yeah.
and we want to know as much about this ahead of time as we can. That way, we're prepared in 5 years when
Hmm.
Ford says, "Okay, boys, here's your new EV Super Duty." There are a lot of guys out there that might not be prepared to tackle something like that. We want
Yep.
to make sure that we are, as an
Yeah.
organization, we want to make sure that we can service that just as easily as we can service internal combustion.
Yeah. And so while I hope that the truck guys are all watching this right now, and we probably just scared you all off. we probably did. You know, um, it's tough because I don't think the electric vehicle market is super interesting all the time. I will say this though, and I've heard that we have two different guys who drive Mustang Mach-E's in our shop.
Mhm.
One of whom is my brother-in-law, and he's got a seven. Yeah, he's got a 7.3 with like 700 horsepower, OBS, 250, beautiful truck. He's making like 700 horsepower, rebuilt the engine to himself. He loves his Mach-E. He's one of our technicians. He thinks it might be Ford's best made vehicle. But here's the thing, he doesn't have it just because it's a Mach-E, electric car, any of that. He has it because it meets all of his needs. He doesn't have a super long commute, but the battery range is more than enough.
Mhm.
He can drive it to work. He can charge it at work. A lot of you guys can do that too. If you're in the field, of course, you understand that's not what I mean, but a lot of people can charge their vehicles at work. If you have a big property and you've got a fleet of vehicles, e-transits, for example, you can charge them probably at work, depending on your setup, of course. But when it comes to electric vehicles, what we have to recognize is that sometimes it's all you need. It meets your need perfectly. Now here's the flip side, and the reason he and I are in this industry is because we have an emotional attachment. I'm speaking for you here, but it
Sure.
might be true. We have an emotional attachment to this industry as well. And so you don't always buy exactly what you need. To be honest, if I were to trade in my car for something that I need, it would not look the same at all. It would be a completely different automobile. It wouldn't be a manual transmission, that's for sure. So we recognize that as well. And so when we're talking about these things, there are people who are going to buy a commercial vehicle because it's exactly what they need, not what they want. If you're tuned into this video today, it might be because you're a truck guy and you won't settle for just what you need. Well, come on into Fox Ford and we'll help you get what you want too,
Right.
right? So when we just
There's middle ground that can be had there for sure.
yes, exactly. So we recognize both sides of those coin, and I think you guys probably understand that. Now, when it comes to um, these future innovations and things like that, what are you doing right now to? And you've talked about educating and
Mhm.
things, but can you give us some specifics that our people can take, our audience can take home with them? You talked about training that you've done.
Mhm.
Can you brag about your guys a little bit and just what's happening behind the scenes in this? Because I would brag about the Fox family too, the guys there that are doing fantastic. Why don't you do some of that?
Sure. So we've got technicians down in our shop that read constantly. They're always looking into insider information. There's a governing group called the NTEA
Hmm.
that we are MVP members of. It's kind of the governing body for the guys that do what we do. And they have a lot of fantastic literature that the boys can kind of research, and I keep my tabs on it as well because I can't do my job out in the field
Right,
if I don't know what's going on in the industry.
right.
We try to maintain a level of continuing education here.
Hmm.
Um, circling back to the EV thing, regardless of how you feel about it personally or
Yeah,
where you fall, I don't want to say politically, but it's it's
yeah,
it's
you're
kind of a
right.
hot button there.
Sure.
Um, like it or not, it's coming.
Yeah.
So if we can get ahead of that stuff and be able to service that crowd as easily as we can service the internal combustion guys currently,
Hmm.
we're not leaving you guys out in the cold.
Right.
I've heard it spoken. I don't even want that on my parking lot.
Yeah.
And you can't approach this closed minded.
Yeah.
You have to keep an open mind when it comes to these types of things because 10 years from now, it's going to be a lot more relevant than it is right now.
Hmm.
And
And
we
better, by the way, better, probably.
we hope to be at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, our guys keep tabs on things. We go to events for training. We attend the truck show every year out in Indianapolis. There's things that we pick up along the way. I learn information from the competition that's out there, the
Hmm.
various other organizations that do what we do as well. And
Sure.
Fox Ford works with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um, I try to get on good terms with the guys that are
Yeah.
direct competitors of mine out in the field. Maybe
Yeah.
they're doing something that we should. Maybe they find out that we're doing something that they should.
Right.
Um, Continuing education has to be forefront in an organization like this because everything changes.
Yep.
So we have to keep ahead of that.
So let's play in a fantasy world here for a
Mhm.
minute, and then what we'll do after that is I think we'll go out and we'll look at a truck and we'll explore a little bit. You get to see some of the quality here and a couple details, and then in the future we hope to do more specifically with stuff that we're going to have on Fox's lot. So today we're just going to look more general, but first let's continue to play and have a little bit of fun. You are getting ready to start a business, and you're going to need a truck from yourself.
Mhm.
Okay, you're going to buy a Ford from us, of course. We'll give you a reasonable price. All right. We'll see. I'll talk to Seth for you because you seem like a nice guy.
Fantastic.
What is the industry you want to get in? Okay, just personally, and what are you going to build? And I want you to give yourself all the bells and whistles. So what's it? What's it going to be? See, there should be somebody watching who's in your shoes, and I want them to maybe comment and see if they agree. So pick an industry, pick a pick a truck, pick a base, and tell me what you're putting on that truck to have the coolest, baddest thing around.
So maybe I'm going to become a plumber.
Sure. Okay.
I want something that Monday through Friday I can put all of the gear into that I need to complete my day-to-day tasks.
Hmm.
And on the weekends, I can load my kids up in it and go to softball and go to cheer and do all of the things that my
Great.
kids need to do. So,
Good job, by the way. That was a good scenario to set up.
in my mind, I'm wanting something with a comfortable four-door cab.
Hmm.
I'm wanting something with a service body on the back of it, a
Yeah.
ladder rack, and a lift gate. So
Okay.
I don't have to work as hard to get stuff from the ground into the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
How do we put this together? I want something that's nice on the interior. So maybe I'm going to look at an XLT
Hmm.
with a power seat.
Yeah.
And I want the service body on the back of it to replace the pickup box.
Sure. Can I think I can get you into a lariat? I'm gonna
I don't
guys.
like leather.
Hey,
I don't like leather.
nobody tell him. I'm gonna upsell this guy so hard. I'm gonna upsell him so hard. He has no idea. But
So,
we'll start at a ranch here, and maybe you can talk me down to a
yeah,
lariat.
for sure. Nah, and that's one of the things. Like, um, as far as using a vehicle for both purposes, we see that a lot.
Yeah.
Where, okay, I need to be able to use this in the field Monday through Friday or for a Saturday afternoon emergency service call,
Yeah.
but I still have to be able to take my kids to dance. I
Yeah.
have to be able to go to softball and have a place that feels like home for me, because my truck is not just
Yeah.
a drill in a cargo bag somewhere.
Yep.
I'm using this for my own personal purposes as well.
Yeah.
So give me both.
Hmm.
Give me something that I'm comfortable in to drive personally as well as vocationally.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's awesome. I'm glad that you tied those two things together because that's not where I was going with that question necessarily. But actually, I was asking because I was just curious what
Sure.
kinds of things that you liked. So I'm really glad you tied those two things in because when you buy a vehicle, some of you are purchasing vehicles for your business and they're not having to do both jobs.
Mhm.
But at Ford and here at Wagner, I assume it's the same. You're supporting and I'm going to say little guy, but you're supporting the small businesses as well. My stepdad, he's run his painting operation out of that Ranger for years. I mean, I think he bought it new and it's a 2011. He's got it now and it's still plugging along. I mean, he's painted the wheels black so they look cleaner and he's got a wrap
Mhm.
on the back. But he loves that thing. He loves his little Ranger. Um, and he doesn't want something else. He wants another Ranger because it does all of the work that it can do, and we use it to get to church in the
Sure.
snow, and we use it to move safely up in New England, all those kinds of things. So it's a part of the family, and it's that same relationship there. Your work truck might be your family truck, and if you're a small business owner and your family is counting on you, to get the job done, you need the tool to do it.
Mhm.
But if they're also counting on you to travel safely in the winter or to just move around,
Sure.
it's got to do that. And so I really like how you pointed that out.
Our trucks are an extension of our personality a lot of times.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, I might have five guys all in the same industry, but they have a completely different expectation at the end of the day of what they want their truck to be for them.
Yeah.
Do I keep a truck for 10 years? Am I putting 40,000 miles a year on and I'm only able to keep it for 3 or 4?
Yeah.
All of these things that we have to try to take into consideration for the small business owner are completely different things than we would have to keep track of for a guy that's got a fleet of 30 or a fleet of 100.
Yeah.
So, again, circling back to part of a conversation that we had in the beginning, um, this is not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So I would have love to have the opportunity to help you as the customer build something that works for you.
Yeah.
Uh, we really try to excel at that,
Sure.
and that's we take a lot of pride in being able to do that. Provide somebody with something that meets all of their needs,
Yep.
not just some of them, but all of them.
Sure.
It matters.
So we'll close with this question, and I just want a yes or no. Okay. Can you build me a 450 with the biggest cab possible, the engine from a Raptor R, 6-inch lift, and a big box in the back to put all of my kids' toys. Yes or no?
Possibly.
And on that, we will go outside and look at some trucks. Alrighty, so Ben said that this truck is actually for a Fox Ford customer, and he's got it on the lot. It looks like it's about done. I don't know what else goes into finishing the process, but it looks about done to me. Now, this is an F-250 XL, so this is a base model truck. This is a 6.8 gas engine in this truck, and it's a Super Crew, so there is a ton of space in the back. I don't know what this truck is getting used for, but if it's a business owner who is running this truck, his guys stuffed in the back are really going to appreciate the Super Crew setup. There is a ton of room for people back there, and actually on the bench, you can lift up the center console. You could fit 6 people in this, not completely comfortably, but definitely cozily. On the back, we've got a CM service body, I believe that they call this, and Ben is going to tell us more about that right after this cut. All right, we're on the other side of that cut now, and we're on the other side of the truck, the side that matters for your small business. I'm going to let Ben handle this one because this is entirely his expertise. So go ahead, show us what's going on.
So one of the things that makes a CM service body extremely unique in the industry is the fact that they designed this as a component body. Now what that means is this is, instead of being completely welded together as one concentric unit,
Yep.
it's actually serviceable. So in the worst case of scenarios, if I was to be involved in a collision on the road, and we all know somebody that has, might even be us, instead of having to replace the entire body, I can replace individual pieces on here. These side packs that hold the toolboxes in place on the truck are completely removable from the actual unit itself.
That's
So
amazing.
in a matter of hours, this could be traded out, replaced, and we're gone out about our day.
Great. Can you show us some of these boxes here, or this one here, this storage unit?
Certainly.
What are your guys using these for?
So these would generally be used for all types of tools or equipment. If I'm a plumber, I can set up multiple compartments for individual pieces that I need for a day's job. I can keep all of my tools in here. I'm 100% secure. It's lockable either at the door or at this locking rod right here, which if I squeeze this, I can drop a padlock right through here and it will lock all 3 components together.
Okay, somebody has clearly thought about this more than I would.
We refer to this as a master lock system, and basically it is a locking rod that runs front to back that engages the doors.
Okay.
So once this is latched and padlocked, all 3 doors per side will lock together. That way I don't have to remember to lock each door individually.
So let's talk about the bed here. Tell me what's going on in here.
CM has designed these bodies with chip guard on the bumper, the deck floor, and the bulkhead. So it is a little more durable than sliding something across a painted finish or a powder coated finish.
Sure.
It has some tack to it. Yeah. So items that I set down on here are not going to be as prone to sliding around as much. I know a lot of you guys out there that have a similar truck to this have spent extra money to have the floor painted with truck bed liner. And that's a great idea, but CM has actually done that for you. So you don't have to worry about it. It's one less thing. Makes this truck road ready the minute it leaves my parking lot.
Perfect. And this isn't all you do. You do a lot more than stuff just like this.
This is just a small example of the different products that we offer. Again, circling back to the initial conversation that we had, our industry is not cookie cutter. This is just a small example of a work-ready unit. It could be expanded upon and it could be changed based on what your needs actually are.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let Ben get back to work because our customer needs this truck, and I'll see you guys in a second. Well, thanks so much for coming along to Wagner Truck Equipment with me in Saltsburg, Pennsylvania. Remember, come on down to Fox Ford in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. Talk to Seth in commercial vehicle sales. He'll make sure that we get you the Ford you need, and they'll ship it along to Wagner so that you get the body that you need to do the job that you have to do. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, all those things so that I get to keep my job. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.